So I got asked about sort of reflecting on the NEUROGUT training as seen by a trainee, and so I'm not going to talk about anything about science. This is purely about what the different training aspects were and how they were experienced by me, and also with the feedback of the others. So the idea was that the NEUROGUT project is intended as a comprehensive training network. So we have people from basic and clinical sciences that share their knowledge and get training to be able to work in academics, but also in industrial research and science-related industry afterwards. The training opportunities that we had, and which have already been briefly mentioned, were that we had different spring and summer schools, as well as additional courses for basic, very relevant skills. And also we had something termed Entrepreneurship Academy. This was complemented then by the standard research work at the local institution, plus also the additional training that the people sort of in the standard experience there. One thing that was obligatory for participating in the NEUROGUT network was to relocate to a participating country. And in order to understand my viewpoints, it's of course I give you a very brief background about where I come from. And I've trained in Germany, in Tübingen, as a medical doctor, and wanted to go into basic or translational research. And that's why I started working with Paul as like a student research assistant there, and then had the opportunity to join into the NEUROGUT network and sort of pursue a science career that way. The thing about Germany is that there are quite limited research opportunities for medical doctors. It's very uncommon to do a proper PhD kind of thing. So this gave me the option to go into Sweden to get a really, really good group with a lot of plentiful research opportunities. And in Sweden there is a very different style of doing medical research, and this connection between clinical work and research work is very encouraged there. The only downside actually is what happens if you go back. How will the different degrees, and I mean, I know that several of us have the problem that you go somewhere else and then you sort of try and take this degree and all of this experience back home where other requirements apply. So this is a bit of a challenging thing, and I hope that Europe will adapt to this gradually to be able to sort of unify this better and improve the movement within the European Union regarding science. So relocating, first, actually I thought I was going to 3 years. When I was there I was told it was being for 4 years. It can be quite a sacrifice regarding the private life, cultural differences and so on, so it's a personal decision. And something that I'm trying to think about now is that actually also, you got those pension requirements, insurances and so on, and it's actually difficult to take them with you over the borders at the moment. So this is something in the long term to just take into account how that works and how to do that in the best way. And actually I know that the Marie Curie Association has started making help and making information on that available, but they had a lecture on it in Frankfurt once, and that was a bit difficult to reach. So it's something. It's getting better. One thing that we were talking about previously with my PI is that usually during the PhD you also have to start building up your own network, and I have a great network now in Sweden. And so the thing I'm trying to figure out right now is where to go to and how I can sort of take that with me and keep on working with that. But since science is a very international thing, and we got Skype, we got emails, all of that stuff, I think those are minor problems at the moment. And since the opportunities in my home country were limited, the NEUROGUT network gave me actually perfect conditions to go and start doing research as a medical doctor there. And as usual, going abroad is really beneficial for your own personal development. So, you got it. I graduated from university and sort of got thrown into a new country, new language, new culture, everything. So that was a lot to figure out, but it was manageable. And now I think, I'm happy for the experience, definitely. Also, and that's I think the biggest thing is that I got and came into a group where I got the opportunity to actually really identify and develop my own strengths and pursue own ideas, which was due to the flexibility that David mentioned possible. And I think that's extremely valuable. Going to a new place, learning how everything works there, and then being able to really find your own specialty in what you can do and what you like doing and what is needed in the field. So for the spring and summer schools, we had 3 of them. We had one 2015 in conjunction with the previous NEUROGastro meeting in Istanbul, where the idea was to do networking, learn how to present results, and meet a lot of senior scientists through interviews. Then in 2016, we all went to Heidelberg in collaboration with Jenner, where we learned about genetic, epigenetic, and microbiota research. So this was one of the things where people from the different fields try and learn sort of vice versa, what the other people are doing and what they're specializing on. 2017, everyone got to travel to Gothenburg, and the idea there was that we do some sort of low-key mingling with local people, with for internet or for European experts, and again try and sort of go out of the focus of the own project and learn over the horizon to sort of get a whole training experience for the whole neurogastroenterological research options. The challenge when it comes to all of those summer schools was that, well, it's a lot of traveling, it takes a lot of time, and it was especially for the people doing lab work difficult to synchronize that with their own work, which resulted in that often not everyone was able to participate and missed out on different aspects. Also, I mean, sometimes when you're very, very engaged in a one project, then it's maybe difficult to sort of go out of that and develop interest for other projects. So sometimes, people were criticizing that a bit. But on the other hand, and I think that's also, again, a strength, and that's something we have to thank Paul for quite a lot, is that we got a tremendous amount of exposure, and basically everyone has seen our faces now, which I hope worked out in a good way. And also, I mean, these are all important skills, and they need to be learned, they need to be practiced, they need to be repeated and applied. So we got the opportunity to meet a lot and to also form a really nice team all together in order to develop new ideas and to talk with each other and with the experts. Then we had 2 complementary training courses additional to the summer schools, which was 2015 with basic presentation skills, paper writing, all of that stuff, and 2017, which was, unfortunately, I missed that one because I'd already stopped with my time in the NEUROGUT project, where the others went to visit the EU Parliament and go into proposal writing and ethics and that kind of stuff. Again, the downside with that is the high amount of traveling. But the upside is, well, these are really crucial skills for research. They need to be learned, they need to be applied, they need to be practiced again. And sort of reflecting up on that, because that's something I have to do right now, is that it's actually difficult to do proposal writings and to know what to do next. So that's something that we could expand upon also with the knowledge. But maybe that's also because I missed that last meeting in Tübingen. As the last part of this training network, that was the industry part. And here we had the Entrepreneurship Academy, which was split up into 3 different modules, and sort of trying to show us how to go from research to an idea to analysis and planning and sort of developing a business concept out of this, and then to launch a startup, and then to actually proceed with innovation and with industry applied work. What we noticed in the beginning was that we had a lot of lecturers that came from MBA backgrounds, that came from business schools and so on, and they were expecting a different audience than what we actually could provide. Also, sometimes they just didn't know that they were going to talk to scientists. They thought they were going to talk to sort of the standard business thing. So you could see in all of those modules that the people adapted to each other. And the feedback I got, especially from the observers, like the camera team or so on, is that they could see that usually us with our research background came to problem solving in a totally different kind of way than the business people were expecting us to do. So over the course of several days, you could see how the people gradually sort of adapted to each other, and then it got really fruitful kind of teaching thing. Honestly, in the beginning, it seemed like a really unnecessary course, and I can show you why. We went somewhere and played with Legos. So it was like, okay, so what are we doing here? But honestly, it turned out to be the most beneficial course, because we would have never thought about this otherwise. Or as one of the others said, we'd have never done this on purpose, actually. So I'm very, very happy about this. And actually, during the time of those 3 years, I think most of us got from, what am I doing here, to, hey, this is interesting, to this is really useful, to, man, I wish I had paid more attention in the beginning. So I was thinking about how to solve that, but I think we needed to start early in order to actually sort of be ready to think about this, and also to start thinking through at our project how we could apply this differently. So maybe you could do the whole thing in the first year and then the whole thing again in the last year, or something like that. And also that was something we discussed a bit, for example, on Tuesday, is that what they have stated the most is that in order to set up a business, we need to network with business partners and with salespeople and with management people and so on. And, you know, since this is sort of the people I work with on the everyday basis, it's difficult to meet people that are skilled in sales and in business stuff and that are not already so much in a job. So this is something that's I'm still trying to figure out, is where to meet like business graduates to team up with for a thing like this. Yeah, that was all already it. So a summary and conclusion of this is that we had a lot of quite time-intensive traveling, additional to all of those local responsibilities that everyone does as a PhD. And you know that doing a PhD is not really leisure time usually, so often it was a bit of, yeah, well, you have to learn how to do time management, quite frankly. The relocation requirement we talked about has a lot of positive and also has some negative aspects. But I think the whole experience was absolutely worth it. We got extensive training in various aspects in academia, in industry, and also in the different fields of the neurogastro research that is possible. We had the opportunity to work in very outstanding research environments with safe funding and high amount of flexibility. We got exposed, we did a lot of networking, we met all sorts of people, and they actually listened to us and talked to us, which is really a nice thing. And I think the whole thing will get even better, especially with the entrepreneurial researchers, teachers. If you get the same ones again, then they know sort of how to talk to life scientists. So, yeah, that's the reflection. I think it was mainly positive and only a little bit critical. And I really want to thank Paul. Sigrid, please tell her our regards. It was great. You did an amazing amount of work, an amazing quality of work. And also I want to thank the group in Gothenburg. Hans, please tell the others that they took me there and they gave me all of these opportunities. And the trainees, which I hope we will be able to meet again. And we're already planning on meeting once a year in a very cheap hotel to relive this. Thank you.